Alright folks, I got this John Deere X310 and the belt on it keeps either breaking or coming off or getting hot, and I think I got an idler arm that's locking up, so we're going to show you how to replace that, and in the process we're going to show you how to take this deck off, because it's a lot easier to do this with taking the deck off than leaving it on. Take the deck off. There's a pin back here, a pin on the other side, and then there's this bar here that you can kind of see from out here. This bar right here is going to lift up. You can see how it's got right there, it's got a slot. That bar will lift up and out, and then the whole deck will just slide out. So when I get down there on the ground, I'll show you where those pins are. We'll take both of those out, take that bar off the front, the deck just slides right out. Now if your belt's still on it, your belt will be attached to a pulley up here in the front, and I'll show you that too. You'll have to untension that belt, take the belt off, because otherwise you'll get your finger stuck in there and you won't like that very much. But I'll show you how to untension that and then take that belt off if that's what you got to do. Alright folks, so here's underneath the mower on the mower deck, and you should be able to see that there's a bar here. It's got a hole in it, and if you get yourself a screwdriver like this and you insert that screwdriver on the left hand side through that hole, it's going to let you grab the handle back here and pull, and when you do, that's going to move that whole tension arm right there. You can see it's got the big spring back here, and that's what's going to let you release the tension on that belt if your belt is attached. So that's all you need to do to get your belt off. If we zoom out a little bit, you can see here's our mower deck, and right back here there's a pin, and all you got to do is slide that pin off. Sometimes you can do it by hand. You just grab this and then get this round part up over the pin, and you can slide it out by hand. If not, a pair of needle nose works really good. And then the next thing you're going to need to do is you're going to have to take one arm and hold, lift this up. When you do, it's going to take the tension off of this pin, and you can just push that pin out. That pin just slides right out. There's nothing holding it in after you take that retaining pin off. And then you'll need a third hand to hold the camera while you do that. So you're going to lift this up, and then once the tension's off, get out of my face, bub. You might have to take a screwdriver down just a little bit. There we go, perfect. Lift it up and push, and that pin will pop right out. And then this will fall away, especially once you get the other side out, and your lever here, which raises and lowers your deck, will be loose. You can see that there's two ridges right here. This arm fits down in between there. When you put it back together, you just need to get that back in there. Lift this up to where the holes line up and pop that pin back through the back. Alright, so you can see we've taken the one off here on the right side of the mower. Now we're going to go forward, and these two bars coming down, we're going to unhook that, and then this whole thing is just going to slide out either way. Alright, this deck is free now, so I can either push the deck forward or roll the mower back. Either way it does the same thing. Lift that up, and now this whole deck is free to slide out from underneath the mower. Alright, so once you got that, it's the handle here. You can just pull this out. The only thing you have to do is make sure that those bars don't fall back into the things that you took off. But sometimes they catch. You gotta reach up in, get it loose, and then just Just hold that, just slide right like that. Alright, so here's our idlers, and I had taken these apart, I think once before, tried to figure out which one was bad. Couldn't quite figure out, neither one was really seized, so I put some oil on them and thinking that might fix it, but it didn't. So I tried to order some of these on Amazon, and I couldn't get the exact right one. So unfortunately I had to end up going to the John Deere dealer and actually buying the one that I needed. This is the one I think was freezing up because when I spun it really fast, it made a noise, and this one here didn't. So I'm going to replace this one, see if that fixes my belt problem, and hopefully it does. Alright, so you're going to need a 15 millimeter deep well. Put it on here. Helps if you do it the right way to get this taken off. Now, this is a U-bolt, and this is on here. It helps hold the belt from coming off the pulley. You need to make sure when you put it back on. Alright, so there's a slot down here. You can see it better over here where my finger's at. See that little slot right there? That U-bolt's going to slide up in there, and so just when you put that back on, make sure it's not out like this or nothing. Make sure it's over here in the right position. Alright, so we got our new idler, and make sure that they're the same size and everything. Now, I think this is the one that's bad, but I'm not 100% sure. This one here spins pretty freely, but it's got a little bit of a rattle to it. And this one here, when it slows down, it's got a little bit of a rattle to it. So I'm going to go ahead and replace this one and probably order me a new one of these. I think these two here are the same, and I'll lube them up with some WD-40, and if I keep having the problem, I'll replace this one, so I'll know that that's not it, and I'll have to replace these and see what's going on with that. Now these other two aren't going to spin because, well, they could spin. This one here and this one both have blades on the bottom of them. So depending on what you got going on, this may be sitting on the ground or sitting on something. I have to check it and make sure that that's not my problem. Something's jamming that up. But again, these here don't have a bushing in them, right, or a bearing. So when you turn these, the blade turns. These here are just supposed to let the belt move on through. So I'm going to flip this over and check, see why this blade here is not turning. All right, yeah, see this turns just fine. It was on the ground or something, so these are turning. All right, got that back on. I'm going to put the belt back on. All right, my belt's still coming off, so I'm going to go ahead and replace these other idlers. These are 15 millimeter size sockets. And again, this fits up underneath there, and underneath here there's a notch. And right here there's a notch, which is the threaded part. It's going to fit up through here, and that notch, this bar is going to fit in that notch, and that's going to make sure that's in the right location for you. Alright, this little piece here has a fat end and a skinny end. If you get confused, the fat end sets down on here, and the skinny end fits into your idler like that. Alright, now before I take this one off, I'm going to take this spring off to get rid of this tension, because otherwise when I take this off, the spring's going to want to pull it that way, and I don't want to get hit by flying debris. Now, one way to take these springs off is you can take a rope or a cable and put on here, especially if you tied a couple handles to that rope or the cable, and pull it, and it'll pull that off, that spring off. I just don't have I don't have one of those handy, and don't feel like making one. So I'm going to do it the hard way. Or maybe not. I don't think this is going to be strong enough, but we'll find out. Oh, it is. Or just an old piece of Romex casing that I had laying around. Worked pretty easy. It says a retaining clip on it. I have to get that off. Alright. So I had that bent up a little bit. I could grab it with the needle nose pliers, hit it real quick, and it just spun right off. Again, there's a bushing here. The skinny end's going to go down in your new bearing, and then the rest of this I'm just going to keep kind of together. There's a big spacer washer there, and a couple washers up here go around that bolt, but I'm just going to leave that laying there. We'll wait till these come in. I got them on order from Amazon. We'll replace them, get it put back together. This washer here actually goes. Alright, so the pulleys that the idlers that we ordered off Amazon were not the right size. So I had to go to the John Deere dealer and get these. These are both two different sizes. And also you might want to mark these. This is the one that's set up higher over here. In my case, this is a lighter color and this is a dark, almost black color. So I knew which one was which. But if yours are both the same color, like I said, they're slightly different sizes, so you might want to, you can see there, this one edge is lined up and this edge here is bigger. So, at any rate, you might want to mark those. If you need to order these from John Deere, these are the part numbers for these two that we have. Alright, so we're going to put these back on and see if we can get this up and running. Alright, so I need to put the belt on. I just took it all the way off because it was so twisted up it was messing with my head. So I'm going to start from the motor loop. So this is going to go up to the motor with the V, skinny part of the V on the inside. Alright, so the fat part of the V is going to come around this idler arm over here. There it goes. Okay, that goes there. This fat part goes around this idler arm, comes around here. We got another retaining bar. We got to get it through. There we go. And you want to make sure you don't pinch your fingers on these things. So this one's going to come out. Again, fat part coming off. And it's going to go to the skinny part on the inside of this pulley here. So that part comes up. It's got to go through this retaining bar, groove side in, and come around this pulley, and then it's going to come across to this pulley that's underneath. And in order to get that through there, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to make sure it's underneath this part, And then you're going to have to pull this pulley out so that you can get it over the top of this one and underneath this pulley over here. Okay? Alright, finally got that figured out. So, the belt comes out, goes around, or comes from the motor, around this idler, around this mower pulley, around this idler, to this mower pulley, up, around this idler, and then again back out to the engine. So that's the way that works. Now we got to slide this back underneath, put our pins in the front, or put our bar in the front, put our 2 pins in the back here, and then we'll take this screwdriver, we'll insert it through that hole that's over here, pull it back. That'll take the tension off of this, and I can loop this forward and put it on the motor pulley. Once we got our hooks here kind of lined up with that, we'll get those hooks slid in onto this bar. Okay. Okay, you on the J hooks again?
Yep, I'm on the J hooks.
Alright, roll that back, roll it forward again, and we got this reattached. Alright, so at the back of your mower, you got this little pin here, and you push this in, and the transmission is engaged with the gears, and you pull it out, and you can push it. So when you put that those front J hooks on that front bar, pull this out so that you can roll it forward, roll it back, and it goes on real easy. Alright, so in the back, again, these bars, you need to make sure they're not on the outside or the inside. Make sure they go in between these 2 pieces so you can get your pin in place. These are the things that get in the way of you sliding this mower deck in, that you have to lift in order to get in there, because that first one from the other side will hit here and then it won't want to go. You got to lift it up so it'll slide up underneath there and get it over there. Alright, we're ready to attach our belt right here to our engine pulley right here. So you can see it's not long enough to go on there. So this is where we put our screwdriver. This is where we put our screwdriver through that hole, pull this, and it gives enough slack for you to put that belt on the mower. Now before we do that, make sure that your belt is in all the V grooves and on all the idler arms and behind all these retaining rings here. Make sure it's in the right path. With one hand, I'm going to grab that screwdriver and pull that tension arm back, which gives me slack, so that I can get the belt up here. And again, be careful, don't get your fingers stuck in there, because you will not like that at all. And then once that's in there, you can release that screwdriver, tension arm, and then your belt should be ready to rock and roll.